peningkatan inflasi Malaysia kekal pada kadar perlahan 1.4% pada April 2025.
Inflasi Malaysia meningkat dengan kadar perlahan 1.8%.
Kadar inflasi naik 4.4%
between August and September.
Many Malaysians today feel that the cost of living is rising, from food prices to fuel and daily necessities. Even if income increases, prices often rise faster, making it harder for households to manage their budget. This situation is caused by inflation. Inflation is important because it affects consumers, businesses, and the overall economy. In this video, our group will focus on the causes of inflation, its effects, and most importantly, the solutions used by governments, especially in Malaysia, to control rising prices. We will also discuss how artificial intelligence may influence inflation in the future.
Inflation refers to the general increase in price of goods and services over time, which reduce the purchasing power of money. This means that the same amount of money can buy fewer goods in the future. Inflation is measured using the Consumer Price Index or CPI. In Malaysia, headline inflation includes all goods and services, while core inflation excludes volatile items such as food and fuel. Policymakers rely on this measurement to decide whether inflation is stable or whether action is needed.
Moving on to my next part, there are several main causes of inflation. First is demand pull inflation, which occurs when consumer demand increases faster than supply. When people spend more but production cannot keep up, prices rise. Second is cost push inflation, which happens when production costs such as fuel, raw materials, and wages increases. Business then raise price to maintain profits. Thirdly, external factors like exchange rate depreciation and rising global commodity prices can increase import costs. In Malaysia, food prices and fuel costs are major contributors to inflation, especially because many food items are imported from outside of Malaysia.
Inflation affects different groups in societies. For consumers, inflation increases cost of living and reduces purchasing power. Even moderate inflation can be painful when wages grow slowly. This is especially challenging for low and middle income households. For businesses, rising costs creates uncertainty and make long-term planning difficult. At national level, high or unstable inflation can discourage investment, slow economic growth, and reduce savings value. Over time, inflation can widen income inequalities if income do not rise equally.
One of the most important tools to control the inflation is by using monetary policy, which is managed by Bank Negara Malaysia. When inflation rises, the Bank Negara Malaysia can increase the overnight policy rate, or we call it OPR. The higher interest rates will make the borrowing more expensive, which reduce the spending by households and businesses. As demand slows, the price increases will also slow down. In recent years, Malaysia's inflation has remained relatively moderate, around 1 to 1.5%, partly because Bank Negara Malaysia carefully adjusted the interest rate to balance inflation control and economic growth.
The government uses fiscal policy to control inflation. Fiscal policy involves government spending, taxation, and subsidies. When inflation is high, the government can reduce unnecessary spending to avoid increasing demand. In Malaysia, targeted subsidies for fuel, electricity, and basic food items help protect households from rising prices without causing excessive inflation. In the long run, government spending on infrastructure, agriculture, and productivity improvements can increase supply. When supply increases, prices become more stable, and inflation can be controlled sustainably.
Now, the question is, are artificial intelligence or AI can affect inflation? Well, studies shows that artificial intelligence or AI can affect inflation in two main ways. On one hand, AI improves productivity by reducing costs, increasing efficiency, and minimizing waste. This can lower production costs and help reduce inflation. On the other hand, AI can increase demand by creating new industries, higher incomes, and more investment. When demand rises faster than supply, prices may increase. Therefore, AI proven impact on inflation depends on how well productivity grows balances increasing demand. Lastly, proper regulation and workforce training are important to ensure AI helps stabilize prices rather than increasing inflation.
In conclusion, inflation is more than just rising prices. It affects living standards, business stability, and economic growth. We have discussed the cause and effects of inflation as well as the key solution that we use to control the inflation. Through effective monetary policy, responsible fiscal policy, and long-term productivity improvement, government can manage inflation and protect households. Understanding the inflation help us make a better financial decision and also support a more stable and sustainable economy.